T-Bird fans, we welcome you to a brand new edition of T-Bird Talk. I'm Cloud County Community College Sports Information Director, Toby Nosker. On this week's edition of T-Bird Talk, we'll have an opportunity to visit with two sophomore pitchers off the Cloud County Community College baseball team, as we will visit with sophomore right-hander Noah Bourgeois from British Columbia, Canada, and sophomore right-hander Zach Sharshel from Topeka, Kansas. The Cloud County Community College baseball team is currently ranked inside of the national top 25 as the T-Birds moved up to number 23 in this week's NJCAA Division I baseball rankings. Beginning today, Cloud County will conclude their regular season in a 4-game conference series against Garden City Community College. The first 2 games will be played at Lee Doyen Field in Concordia this afternoon, beginning at 2 p.m. The final 2 games will be played Saturday at 2 p.m. at Williams Stadium in Garden City, Kansas. The Broncbusters enter the series at 22-29 overall and 8-20 in Kansas Jayhawk Community College conference play. Meanwhile, the T-Birds are 38-14 on the year and 21-7 in conference action. Cloud County has won 12 straight in the series, dating back to 2022. The Cloud County Community College softball team will also wrap up its regular season with a road trip to Ark City today, as they will play number 20 Cowley College in Kansas Jayhawk Community College conference play. The T-Birds are coming off a split in a conference doubleheader Monday, falling 3-0 in Game 1 to Highland Community College before bouncing back and securing a 7-2 victory in Game 2. Sophomore Camille Stauffer homered in the top of the second inning to give the T-Birds an early 1-0 lead in the second game of the doubleheader. Sophomore Shaylee Kessler drove in 2 runs on a single in the 4th inning, scoring freshman Emily Johnson and freshman Berkeley Curtis to push the lead to 3-0. The T-Birds added 3 more runs in the 5th. Sophomore Harley Smith led off the inning with a single to right field. Freshman Malia Coster followed with a base hit, and she and Smith were both able to score on a pair of defensive errors. Stauffer also reached on a single through the right side before being driven in on a sacrifice fly by Kessler. Stauffer went deep for the second time in the game, leading off the top of the 7th inning with a home run to left field to make it 7-0. Stauffer has a team-leading 8 home runs on the year and 14 home runs for her career. Highland scored 2 runs on 3 consecutive singles in the bottom half of the 7th, but Cloud County sophomore pitcher Paige Muller was able to get freshman Mia Gomez to pop out in foul territory before striking out the final 2 batters to close out the game. Muller has improved to 9-9 on the season after she allowed 2 runs, both unearned, on 5 hits with 1 walk while striking out 7. Across her last 4 starts, Muller has 4 wins and has allowed only 7 runs total while holding opponents to a 172 batting average. 3 different players had multi-hit games for Cloud County, led by Stauffer, who went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs, 3 runs scored, and 2 RBIs. Kessler went 2 for 3 with a double and 3 RBIs. Freshman Lily Ellison had a pair of hits. Johnson added a double with 1 run scored, while Curtis Coster and Smith had 1 hit each. Coster also added an RBI. The victory marked Cloud County's 6th win in its last 7 games after being shut out in Game 1. The T-Birds struck out 10 times and left 8 runners on base in the first game of the afternoon. Cloud County had 6 hits in the loss, including 2 each from Johnson and freshman Bella Sanson. Today's action between Cloud County and Cowley College begins at 2 p.m. from Ed Hargrove Field in Ark City. A link to today's live stream can be found at the T-Birds Sports Network at cloudtbirds.com. CloudTBirds.com and the T-Birds Sports Network will also be live streaming today's baseball doubleheader between Cloud County and Garden City. Up next, we will talk to 2 sophomore members of the T-Bird baseball team, Noah Bourgeois and Zach Sharshel. This is T-Bird Talk.
Are you a Kansas or Nebraska high school senior who's thinking about your next steps after high school? If so, you qualify for Cloud County Community College's $500 Early Bird Scholarship. All you have to do is visit campus before December 13th and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you get a $500 scholarship guaranteed. So come visit Cloud and see why our students are Cloud proud. On your visit, you'll see our campus, meet with an academic advisor, and get a chance to have all your questions answered. Set up your campus visit today by giving us a call at 800-729-5101 extension 212 or visiting us online at cloud.edu/admissions.
This week on T-Bird Talk, an opportunity to visit with two members of the Cloud County Community College baseball team as the T-Bird baseball team in the final week of the regular season and preparing for the final Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference Series of the 2025 season as Cloud County will close out the regular season, matching up with Garden City Community College. The first two games will be played Thursday at Lee Doyen Field in Concordia, a 2 o'clock first pitch for the opening game of that doubleheader. And then the series will shift to Garden City, Kansas on Saturday. Another 2 o'clock start at Williams Stadium in Garden City, Kansas. The Cloud County Community College baseball team currently ranked number 23 in the country at 38-14 on the season, 21-7 in Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference action. And joining us today, we have two sophomore pitchers off the T-Bird baseball team as we are joined by Noah Bourgeois and Zach Sharshel. And I appreciate the two of you taking time to join us. And Noah, let me start with you. So where are you originally from?
I am from Surrey, British Columbia, Canada.
Tell me a little bit about baseball. Growing up playing baseball, how did the sport enter your life? Tell me a little bit about your background as it relates to the sport.
Yeah, it started pretty much right away. 4 years old is when I started T-ball, made the rankings all the way up growing up, and played pretty much the whole time in BC. And then when I was 10, I actually played baseball in the States for a little bit, went down and played travel ball, had that fun experience. And then when I got back into high school, played in the PBL, which is where a lot of the guys from BC on Cloud and pretty much everywhere, all the guys that played in BC, they played in the PBL.
Did you grow up playing other sports?
A little bit. Soccer in the off season. I tried basketball, but it was pretty much always baseball from the start.
And why baseball?
I don't know. I think that's just something that I had a talent for at a young age. It was something that I just fell in love with pretty much right away. So, yeah.
And as you said, played some travel ball, got involved in the PBL league, as you were making mention of.
Yeah. Tell
me a little bit about how Cloud County Community College entered the picture then, and at what point did you start really considering, hey, this is something that, post-high school, as I'm looking at going to college, might be an option and an opportunity for me?
Yeah, I think the main source was Carson Latimer, who played here last year. I played Delta Blue Jays with him. And then I had a phone call with Mike Parr, the pitching coach at Cloud, in my junior year towards the end, and then just continue to keep in touch. And then towards the end of my senior year, I felt that Cloud was going to be a good fit for me, so then made a good choice for that.
What was it about Cloud that stood out? Why did you feel like it was the right option for you?
I think that there was a lot of other guys in my league that had went to Cloud, other guys that I'd played with previously that had went to Cloud and moved on and said that it was a good fit for them and that they really enjoyed their time here.
Do you feel like you made the right choice?
I think so, yes.
Let's bring Zach Sharshel into the conversation as well. So, Zach, where are you originally from?
Topeka, Kansas.
So tell me a little bit about baseball for you. Growing up, when did you start playing?
Yeah, man. So I started really, really late. When I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be an athlete, but I wasn't, sure what sport I wanted to play. So I played soccer, football, basketball. I kind of did it all. And then I was around 11 years old and was talking to my dad, and he was a big-time baseball guy growing up. And I was like, Dad, I've never played that. So got on a local rec team, and then moved from Wichita to Topeka when I was 11, and it was tough. I started late, everyone around me had been playing for a long time. But then I got into competitive baseball and knew this is what I wanted to do. And then I fell in love with the game from there, and now I'm here.
What is it about baseball, separate from those other sports, that you're really attracted to, that you love?
I think of every sport I played, and with baseball, I think that this sport teaches me more about life than anything. Obviously in other sports you fail a lot, but this is a game where you fail a ton. And I noticed that the more and more I played and the more I fell in love with the game, I matured more as a young man, and that's something that I needed to do as a kid, and that's kind of what helped me fall in love with it.
Were you always a pitcher?
When I started out, believe it or not, I played the field a little bit. Kind of hard to guess that now, but I played a little bit of third base, a little bit of shortstop. But when I was in high school, I knew my future was on the mound, so I just started to focus on that, and it led me to where I'm at now.
Where'd you go to high school?
Washburn Rural High School.
So got a little more serious about it later.
Mm-hmm.
what point did you start thinking, hey, maybe this might be an option for me too, that maybe this is something I can do post my time at Washburn Rural?
Right around when I was 15, 16, so freshman, sophomore year, I had a long ways to go. I was nowhere near good enough to play in college yet, but once I kind of made my high school team and got with those guys, and that's when I was like, I love this, and this is what I want to do, excuse me, for as long as I can.
What was the recruiting process like for you?
It was tough because when at the age, junior year, when school started reaching out to guys, I didn't really have anyone because I just wasn't all there. I had a lot of weight to put on. I had a lot of things I had to get better at. And then I got with Shane Sieben, Drew Barron, Connor Cook, three of my former coaches at the Barn Baseball Academy in Manhattan, Kansas. And they kind of told me, like, hey, if you want to achieve what you want to achieve, here's what you got to do. They gave me all the opportunities and everything to get it done, and I worked as hard as I could. And then, one day, Shane Sieben, who's the one who got me here at Cloud, started reaching out to a couple coaches for me and reached out to Coach Gilly. And thankfully, the opportunity came, and I waited a little bit, and then I decided to continue my baseball career here at Cloud.
What was it about Cloud County that stood out, and why did you feel comfortable making that commitment to come here?
The first thing that stood out was I never really heard of Cloud. Where I'm from, a lot of guys go to different schools. Like we had a couple guys from Washburn Rural come to Cloud here in the past, but not a ton of guys. And I decided to do my research because, again, I didn't know much about it. And once I saw, the development and then the benefits of Cloud and the guys that I knew that went here, what they said about it, I was like, yeah, this is where I need to be, not only for the development side, but also to mature as a young man and in life.
You feel like you made the right choice?
100%.
Why?
My past 2 years here, like I didn't really think that I would be able to grow as much as I have, but with all the lessons I've learned from like classes here and with coaches and the relationships I developed and just learning how to learn from failure and learn from opportunities, I don't think I would have gotten that anywhere else.
No, I have to assume, Zach's from nearby Topeka, Kansas, and he was talking about he wasn't too familiar with Cloud and Concordia, Kansas. I'm assuming you didn't know much about Cloud or Concordia before you showed up.
No, not at all. In fact, a lot of the schools in the States I wasn't too familiar with, especially the junior college ones, because growing up watching baseball, for me, it was mainly the professionals I watched. I started to get a little bit into the college, but that was just the big D1 schools. So all the little all the JUCO schools, I didn't really know any of them at all. And I think the biggest thing that helped me to choose Cloud was the fact that there were other guys that I knew, like I was saying, Carson Latimer that I played with that went here, and then other guys that I played with summer ball that had already been here. So that made that decision for Cloud a lot easier.
Did you ever actually visit campus, or was the first time you came to campus when you first showed up as a student?
Yeah, the first time I ever went to Cloud was day one of freshman year. Definitely a culture shock for sure, being out in the Midwest, from being a West Coast guy. But yeah, it was cool to learn the culture and to meet all the new guys.
We'll talk a little bit about your baseball experience here, but separate from that, I mean, just being out on your own for the first time, adjusting to life in the United States. You'd had some experience, I know, as you mentioned, being here in the States, but, being out on your own, experiencing adulthood, going to college, a brand new school, brand new city, brand new environment. Take me through that transition, and how do you feel like you've handled it?
Yeah, as a kid, I definitely thought it would be something I would struggle with a lot more. But what made it easy for me was I roomed with Cam McLeod, who's a guy that I played with in the PBL and back home. So having him, just another guy that we're both going through these new experiences together, just made it a lot easier. So a lot of the reason why it was just it turned it into a nervous into a more fun experience.
And Zach, you're not too far from home, but what has life been like for you, kind of adjusting to, post-high school, being out on your own and, taking classes here at Cloud, going through, all of these new experiences?
It was definitely kind of like Bob said, a culture shock. Being from Topeka, it's one of the bigger cities in the state. It's the capital of Kansas. I've never lived or been around anywhere like Concordia. I remember taking my visit here and then showing up to campus, and when my parents left, it was like this is very, very different from what I'm used to back home.
Have you found, as you've made this transition, that the people here at Cloud County have been pretty supportive, though, of you? Do you feel like you've got, teachers and staff members and folks here on the campus community and the community at large that, really have your back and want to see you be successful?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the beauty of living in a small community. The more and more you hear it, everyone starts to feel like family. You get to know people more. I mean, there's people you never thought that you would cross in your path that you end up becoming very, very close with. And everyone from teachers to teammates to coaches to people you might see at, Subway whenever you're going there. There's those people you become close with and grow with, and you have their back and they have yours as well. As
you mentioned, Noah, it was a culture shock. Obviously, Concordia, Kansas, much different from British Columbia, Canada. But what's that been like for you being in a small town like this, and obviously a small campus too? It feels like everybody knows everybody. Have you liked that?
Yeah, it's really nice to just go around, familiar faces everywhere, and it's nice that small town, it keeps like all the distractions away. Very easy to focus on why I'm here, schoolwork, baseball, and then like you said, small community. It's been really easy to have a lot of other guys to depend on.
Of course, as you mentioned, there's a lot of Canadians and a lot of folks from British Columbia, Canada, and people that you even knew that are here. Has it been nice for you to be able to have people that are from your neck of the woods, so to speak, that you can relate to, and they're going through the exact same changes and experience that you're experiencing?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that having guys from home definitely made it, like I said, a lot easier. I think the biggest thing right now is probably the dollar exchange rate is probably the biggest issue that we have. But yeah, like I said, having those guys from home has made it a lot easier.
Let's talk a little bit about the transition from a baseball perspective and kind of reflect back for me, first year coming in as a freshman. And when you come to college, obviously your studies, being a student athlete, student comes first, but you're also here because of the sport that you're playing. And it becomes almost a full-time gig where you're doing this year-round. It starts in the fall with a lot of workouts, the fall season. It continues through the winter until you finally get to the actual spring season. What was that transition like for you coming in and focusing so much on the game that you love?
Yeah, I think actually I thought I would be a lot busier than I was. The schoolwork didn't take too much. Practice, it was a little didn't take too much out of the day. But I think the biggest thing for me was fighting for a role. In high school, there's not too many roles to fight for. You're kind of one of the main guys, and then come into campus, it's all those main guys meet in the same spot. So I think the biggest thing for me in terms of the sport was going in and saying I'm not really the best guy on the team anymore, and that you got to fight for these roles, which was a new experience.
What is that like? Because you're fighting with maybe your roommates, your teammates, the people that you're close with and spend the most time with while you're here. But you're also all competing for the same opportunities. So kind of take me through that, and what's that experience like?
Yeah, it definitely takes a sense of selflessness. Obviously, you want to see the team success, but have individual success at the same time. It's just something that you got to learn, and then just be there for the other guys as much as they're going to be there for you.
Zach, did you know coming in that it was going to be that competitive and that tough to have to compete within your own team for spots and opportunities?
Yeah, I did in a way. I knew that kind of like Noah said earlier, in high school, you're kind of the guy. You come here, as a young guy, and there's other guys you're fighting for. I knew it was going to be like that, but I didn't know truly how competitive it was going to be. I knew when I came here I wasn't going to be, the guy that everyone goes to and that has the best stuff and this and this and that. But I didn't know that coming here and like other schools, I'm sure that the guys that you don't know about that are there also are crazy, crazy good. And there's a lot of work that you have to do to get up to the top.
Is it more difficult from a physical and a development standpoint, or more a mental standpoint, like a mental block? Again, knowing, hey, I've got to challenge this guy, but he's just as good, if not better than me.
I would say it depends on the guy. For a lot of guys, I would say it's probably equal 50-50 because you got to put in a lot of work physically to be able to maintain your health and get stronger and bigger and faster, whatever it may be. But at the same time, if you achieve all those goals and you go out there, you're like, and you're not where you want to be, it can definitely take a toll on you mentally. So I would say it's probably 50-50.
And Noah, I know you've had an interesting journey where at times you're a starter and then other times you're filling a role out of the bullpen. And that role out of the bullpen may see you still pitch, 3-4 innings, or you may just get an inning of work. So how do you go out there and try to make the most of whatever opportunity that you're given?
Yeah, I think the whole thing is just go out there and do my best whenever I can. I'm not in charge of when I pitch, but how I can pitch and going about my day and routine is something that I have complete control of. So I think just going out there and just enjoying the time when I'm out there on the mound is the best thing.
So I want to ask about how you feel like you've performed then during your time here at Cloud. And before we talk about the actual performance, just from a development standpoint, have you seen your game really progress in what has been really a brief 2 years, but the 2-year time that you've been here at Cloud? Do you feel like your game has risen to a whole different level?
Yeah, I feel like I faced a lot of challenges early on, the mental side of it, but I feel like help from the coaching staff, all the support. It's been a journey that I've definitely been happy to be a part of. I think that towards the end of each year is when I felt like I've been at my best.
How do you feel like you've competed this season?
Fairly well. To start, it was a little shaky, new things to overcome, but then just keep stacking good day after good day. I feel like I'm in a spot that I'm proud of.
Zach, for you, as far as your development as a player during these 2 years, how much growth do you feel like you've seen in yourself?
A ton, and I would honestly say it's a lot more mental than physical. Not only just learning how to pitch and what to do with each hitter and this and that, but also learning how to, like I said earlier, handle the failures and learn from that, knowing that one bad day or one bad game doesn't define me or my season or who I am. Being able to have that experience and learn from that has been the biggest thing for me.
And I know your time has probably been a little more limited than you would like this season, would like more opportunities. How do you feel like you've handled and adjusted to that? And then, still being there for your teammates, still being able to try to motivate them and support them in whatever roles they're now taking on for the team as well.
Yeah, honestly, man, I wouldn't want it any other way. I know that this point up to the season, if I were to go back in time and tell myself how it went, I wouldn't be super happy with it, but I think that it was the best thing that could have happened for me. Again, it's a huge learning experience. I've talked to Coach Gilly about this a ton, and I think that with everything going the way it has, I've been able to learn a ton, but also learn how to be a better teammate, learn how to pick guys up when they're not doing super good and learn how to, try and help keep guys up when they're doing good, and becoming a better teammate has been the biggest thing from it. But season's not over. We still got another big series coming up. We've got the postseason. We're ready to get right back out there and continue to get after it, myself and as a team.
Let's talk about the season as a whole from a team perspective. As I mentioned, ranked currently in the top 25 for the fourth time this season, the third consecutive week that Cloud County's been in the top 25. You're heading into your final conference series. You've won 6 of the 7 series that you guys have played in the conference so far this year. Zach, from a team perspective, how do you feel like you guys have performed as a whole?
Really, really good. I think this year one thing we've struggled with is injuries, and with that we've had a ton of young guys step up and prove themselves and prove that we can still win and go out there and dominate and be a tough team to beat when we don't have our best guys, and we had to have those guys in there for a long time, and if we need them again and at any position, we know that if one guy goes down, it doesn't matter at all because we've got 3 more guys that are going to step up and give it their all and give us the best chance to win.
Noah, what's been your feelings on the way the team's performed this year?
Yeah, I feel like it's been really good all season. We've gone on some pretty good runs. And then like Zach was saying, that it's been guys that haven't been playing all year that have stepped up in really huge situations for us, and that's been key to our success this year. And
it speaks to the incredible level of depth that we've kind of talked about and how tough it can be to compete for spots. But when the next guy does have to step up, you have guys certainly that are capable of being able to do so. Home playoff series set up for next week, though. Don't know yet who that opponent will be, all of that will be decided at the end of this week as the T-Birds head into their final conference series matchup against Garden City Community College. First pitch of Thursday's game scheduled for 2 o'clock from Lee Doyen Field in the Concordia Sports Complex. And, of course, we'll stream the doubleheader for you live on the T-Birds Sports Network at cloudtbirds.com. Noah, if I ask about goals, what are the goals for this team as you guys make this final push towards the end of the year?
Win.
That simple?
That's all. That's simple.
Zach, are you going to tell me the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, win. That's what we're here to do. That's what we came here to do. That's what led us up to this point. Win and go as far as we possibly can, and also don't stay present. Have fun while we're doing it. This is the last time that every single one of these guys is going to be in the same exact team together. We're here to have fun. We're here to win, and we're going to do exactly that.
Coming up, I'll ask you my final four questions that I'll have for each of you. But before I get into that, you both are sophomores. Your time not only as a Cloud County baseball player, but as a student at Cloud County Community College is rapidly coming to an end. Zach, what's the plans for you in the future?
I'm committed to Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. Really excited to get there. Coach Tribby and Coach Rhodes gave me an opportunity, show that they wanted me, and I'm blessed to have that opportunity to go play there next year.
What stood out about them?
Felt like home. Obviously being from the Midwest, Illinois is in the Midwest too, but it just felt like home. The way that they run the program, the facilities, the players that I was able to meet, everything. It felt like I'd be right in my backyard back at home, and I love that about it.
And Noah, as for you, I know you're still visiting with different schools, kind of playing out your options, right?
Yep, still visiting with schools, talking to schools, just trying to find a new home for next year. It's been a fun process, and excited to see what that may be.
But you're interested in continuing to play?
Yes, absolutely.
As I said, the time at Cloud rapidly coming to an end, though. Before I get to my final four questions, Noah, what are you going to miss about Cloud? Not just baseball, but just, this 2 years as a whole, being here in Concordia, on the campus, around the people. What are you going to miss the most about your time here?
It's going to be the guys. The bonds that I've made over these past 2 years has been incredible. Every time I go back home for winter break or the summer, the one thing I think about is coming back and seeing all the guys again.
What about for you, Zach? What are you going to miss the most?
Right around the same line. It's going to be the guys. Coming here has given me an opportunity to meet people from all over. We're known for having a lot of guys from Canada, like Bob here, and Noah's one of my roommates too. So I see him every single day. I get to talk to him every single day. It's gonna be the guys. Back home, if one of my buddies from my high school team, I can drive 10 minutes down the road and go see him. If I want to go see Bob, I probably got to drive about 30 hours to go see him. So it's gonna be that for sure.
I feel like we have to explain this, though, because you've done this a couple of times. You've referred to Noah as Bobby. Yeah. Where does the nickname Bobby come from? I'll let Noah tell me, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a funny story. The whole origin is my middle name's Robert, so that's where Bobby comes from. But I was messing around one time, and my username on Snapchat was Bobby. And then when I committed to Cloud as a freshman, I got entered into one of the group chats, and that's the name that everybody saw. And half the guys, didn't know who I was. So when I pulled up, a lot of them thought that's what my name was originally. And I was roommates with Noah Connings at that time, so it just made it easier for everybody if that's what they'd called me.
I just hear every time you step out on the mound, I hear your teammates just shouting Bobby from the dugout, and it's just stuck, huh?
Yep.
Well, let me jump into our final four questions now. And again, I'm going to throw these at you. Let each of you answer these questions. But I just want to kind of get some perspective and maybe have some fun with this as well. But you guys are both pitchers. And again, trying to make the most of whatever moment you may get in a game. So I kind of want to know what the pregame ritual looks like for each of you and how you get yourself in the right mindset into the zone. Zach, kind of take me through that. How do you prepare, again, not knowing whether you're going to get an opportunity, how long that opportunity may be? Tell me a little bit about how you get yourself in the right space and focused in case called on.
Yeah, so I think leading up to the game, there's a lot of thinking before that of what role I might be thrown in and what might happen and what, this and that. And I think the most important thing to do is clear your mind. So with that, we have this game called Hacky Sack. We played as a staff. It's a really, really fun game. Everybody gets into it. That's kind of the first step into it. And then from there, it's just getting the body right, making sure everything's primed up, making sure I'm loose, and then during the game, since I'm a reliever, I could be calling it any time, and it's whether it's running down to the fence and back or going down in between innings and doing a couple stretches and this and that. It's just making sure that I'm loose and ready to go in at any time whenever my number's called.
Noah, for you, what's that ritual look like?
Yeah, I think for me, it's having the same physical routine every day, doing all the stretches I need to get my body loose. And then for me, the more I think about the game, I feel like the worse I am. So I just try to be involved with the guys, have fun, make conversation. And then when the game's going on, just like Zach said, running down, keeping the body loose, and just waiting for my time to go.
One of the things I've learned here on my first year as the SID at Cloud and traveling around with the different teams is you guys can eat. There's a lot of eating that happens on the road during the travels, a lot of snacking that goes on. So I want to know what's the favorite either road trip snack or dugout snack that you have. Noah, I'll let you go first. What's your go-to during game days?
I feel like I have a little set things that I need to get every single time. I'll usually get a Gatorade, Propel, maybe go with like a peach flavored, and then a good energy drink just to get me going. Probably let's go with the peach Ghost. I guess we have a little bit of a theme here. And then make sure you got to switch it up. So a miscellaneous snack, maybe something a little salty just to kind of keep you going.
All right, Zach, what's your go-to?
Yeah, man. I think one that's really, really easy and kind of gets you everything you need is Uncrustables. That's something that you'll see in our dugout a lot amongst a lot of guys, Uncrustables. And then if there's a day where I just want like a snack mix, I'm not a big candy guy. I love Gardettos though. I think not a lot of people do. You know, I say that and they're like, what's that? But Gardettos are probably my number 2.
So the problem is you guys then get out athletically and actively and compete and work all this stuff off. I'm, snacking and not working any of it off. So I feel like I'm doing my college experience all over again, and I've gained another freshman 15 this year. So let me get to question number 3. And Zach, I'll let you tackle this one first. Who in your life has been a teammate, a coach, a role model, a mentor that has most impacted you in your development as a player, whether here at Cloud or elsewhere? Who do you feel like has had the biggest impact on you, your love of baseball, and where you are today?
100% my dad. I give everything out to him. Like I said, early in my career, he's the one who got me into the game. Ever since I got my driver's license, he was taking me everywhere. He was driving me 4 days a week, an hour to Kansas City to practice, and he'd sit there and watch through all of it, and that's something I'm very, very thankful for. My dad's the biggest one, not just because he played, but also because he's countless hours, when I used to hit back in the day in the cage, and then catching me and playing catch with me and hit me ground balls and making sure I had everything I needed from equipment to food to just transportation and just being a great dad. It would 100% be him.
Noah, for you, who's that person that's had the biggest impact on you?
Yeah, I'd say it's got to be my parents as well. Just the support, especially with me being all the way out here and them at home. Just making sure that I'm always doing well, calling them, seeing how things are going. And then, like Zach was saying, I don't think my dad, until I got to college, missed a single game. So they're always there just supporting me and making sure that I'm having fun doing the thing I love.
Final question before we get out of here for today. But if you guys had the opportunity today, and as you come to the end of your 2 years here at Cloud, to sit down with members of the incoming freshman class, the guys that are going to come in for the first time next year, Noah, what kind of advice would you have for them on what it takes to be successful in college and as a T-Bird baseball player?
I would say to just be in the moment. I think a lot of guys go to junior college to move on, but being in the moment, having fun with the guys, is the biggest key to just, one, having fun, and as well as being successful, to just keep doing what you're doing every day, have a routine, and like I said, just stay in the moment. Zach,
for you, what would you tell them?
Don't take it too serious. Don't take it too serious and take advantage of every opportunity you're given. You're only going to get so many. I think also having a short memory is a big one. It's hard here. It's very, very difficult at this level. It's, you're not in high school anymore, and if you go up there and you strike out, you get hit around, or you walk the house, or you make 3 errors in the field, it doesn't matter. you have to understand that tomorrow is a new day and you're going to get a new chance. And having a short memory is the best way to go about that.
I want to wish you both the best of luck in the remainder of the 2025 season. Hopefully there's a lot more baseball that still remains as we head in to the postseason. And then, of course, wish you all the best in your future journeys. But I appreciate the two of you taking time to visit with me today. Thank you so much for being on the show this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you a Kansas or Nebraska high school senior who's thinking about your next steps after high school? If so, you qualify for Cloud County Community College's $500 Early Bird Scholarship. All you have to do is visit campus before December 13th and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you get a $500 scholarship guaranteed. So come visit Cloud and see why our students are Cloud proud. On your visit, you'll see our campus, meet with an academic advisor, and get a chance to have all your questions answered. Set up your campus visit today by giving us a call at 800-729-5101 extension 212 or visiting us online at cloud.edu/admissions.
My thanks going out to Noah Bourgeois and Zach Sharshel for being our guest this week on T-Bird Talk. And all the spring sports programs at Cloud County Community College head towards the end of their 2025 seasons. Want to wish all the best to the Cloud County baseball team as it competes in a 4-game conference series this week against Garden City Community College. Want to wish all the best as well to the T-Bird softball team as they wrap up their regular season today on the road in Ark City against number 20 Cowley College. And we want to wish all the best to the Cloud County Community College women's and men's track and field teams. They are competing this weekend in the 2025 Region 6 Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference Championships that begin today and run through this Saturday. This year's conference championships are taking place at Veterans Memorial Stadium on the campus of Coffeyville Community College. You can keep on top of everything that's happening in Cloud County athletics by checking out the Cloud County Athletic website at cloudtbirds.com. Now next week, we'll mark the final episode of T-Bird Talk for the 2024-2025 school year. We'll be talking postseason action for the spring sports programs at Cloud County. You can find T-Bird Talk available on any of your favorite podcast platforms. T-Bird Talk is a production of the Cloud County Community College Athletic Department.